a domain of nihilism, which is another nothingness.
All right, yeah. You believe. Well, I don't believe. Yeah, go on.
Shortly after my 15th birthday, I experienced something one night. I call it like falling into an abyss and ending up in Shadowland, so to give it a name.
Yeah.
And it's like all lights went out, life left everything was just tasteless and colorless, and I was wondering, of course, what has happened to me. And after a while, I noticed something had taken over. Later on, I would say this is the me that has taken over, in which I could not believe. It was an automat. I refer to myself like a mechanical puppet.
Yes, absolutely.
I had no control over it. My thoughts came and went as they pleased. My feelings came and went as they pleased. Everything happened, but it wasn't me. But I was told that this is me. So I didn't have an inner world that was a home, or where I could refer to as me. Mm. And the outer world was foreign all of a sudden also.
The outer world
was also foreign. It was, I didn't have a control, and I don't have a control over the outer world, but also not over the inner world. So I had nothing, neither inside nor outside. And as a result, just to give an example, much later on, I once was pregnant, and I decided to abort because I could not conceive how someone who is a living dead can give birth to something alive. Yeah. It didn't make sense to me. No. So I'm saying this, that can you say something about this? I don't mean just the philosophical term of nihilism, but the experience of nihilism, that the mind sees itself as having is empty, it has no roots, no ground, it's all made up, it's all mechanical, and yet it does not fall into a place where you are, I say.
Well, I'm not anywhere, but
yeah. I know, but if you know what I mean. It's like the me doesn't go, but it experiences itself more dead than alive.
Yeah, so really, my feeling, what's coming up for me is that that's very much to do with disassociation. There is something that can happen in the body-mind organism which disassociates with itself and life, and somewhere there's a sort of deadness in that. It's nothing like we're talking about. All this is trying to express here, and there's just a feeling of not being anywhere and having no meeting with anything. As far as control is concerned, that part of it, there is nobody that has any control. That is the illusion that me has. It's an illusion that it's in control. There isn't anything that's in control of anything. It just is what is. But as far as the feeling of deadness, or not wanting, not seeing how, not even wanting anything else to be brought into this world that would live in that deadness, for me that's more to do with disassociation than nihilism. I mean, nihilism, as far as I'm concerned, is just another philosophical idea. It doesn't have any great... It's just a construct of the mind. This certainly has nothing to do with anything of that sort, because all that's left when the illusion of separation drops away is unconditional love. There's just unconditional love. Everything is that. Suddenly there's nothing left that's apart from love. There just is living in that unconditional love. And that certainly is not disassociation. You could say it's almost like the opposite of disassociation. And it certainly has nothing to do with detachment. What we're talking about here is beyond intimacy.
I do, believe me, I do get that. In German we have two words for reality, which we use interchangeably. And I remember I was 18, I wrote an essay about it. these two realities. One is, the reality that the mind makes up,
Okay.
and then the reality that the mind can never enter. And so there is a knowledge, but I fell in between.
Okay.
I had neither nor.
It's difficult to say without really going into it in great detail.
Okay.
That's what came up for me when you were talking. What suddenly came
Yeah.
up for me was that sense. People some people can have the facility to disassociate times in the day or permanently, but that has no relevance to this at all. I don't know how much that satisfies. Well, I'm not here to satisfy you anyway, but I don't know how much that addresses what you're talking about. But this has nothing to do with anything like that.
I'm aware of that. I think I asked for
Well, it obviously concerned you because it's affected your whole life.
Yeah.
This is really in a sort of sense what we're doing here, what can happen here, is a sudden remembering of childlikeness. We're remembering what it was like to be a child.
I do, strangely enough, I do have memories before I learned to speak.
Yeah.
And before I entered time and I didn't know who I was or anything was.
Yeah.
I do have a memory very
Wonder,
clear.
the wonder of this. The one, God. And it's this, not some abstract idea about this, it's actually standing on the floor. Suddenly standing on the floor is really standing on the floor rather than something that is just, apart from it. So it's hugely to do with a joy, I wonder.